Hey guys, it's Joey, happy Beltane. Decided to go ahead and do Celtic Calling today anyway. I want to show off my pretty makeup, my pretty pin-up style makeup, even a little red lip here going on because I'm alone all day and night, so nobody's gonna see. And I wanted to share, I want to feel pretty. Yeah, anyway, so I wanted to do it today as well because I decided to sort of go with the Celtic god Bel as today's Beltane. And we're going to talk about that. So first and foremost, the information is a little bit lacking, and I will give you the information that I came across, and then we're going to talk about it in generalised Beltane terms, and that's another reason to do it today. Okay, so if you look on the surface of it, you get the following information. His symbols are the horse, the wheel, and his name means shining god or bright one or henbane god, and so is associated with the sun as well as Beltane, showing the roots Bel from the same name. The symbol of the horse is shown by the clay horse figurines offering at Balanos Saint Sabine shrine in Burgundy, and the wheel is illustrated on the famous Gunstrup cauldron. The identification with Beltane is likely based on two texts. Cormac's glossary states that Beltane was named for Bel and the cattle were driven through two bonfires to purify them. And this is echoed in Tochmach Emer, and a quote from that is, "All that the young of every neat were placed in the possession of Bel." Elsewhere, Belanos is also possibly associated with prophecy. If the editors of the Celtic Culture Encyclopedia are correct, his name may be derived from Belisa, the word for henbane, a psychoactive drug. Balanos is one of those rare Celtic gods who made an impression not only in the Roman consciousness, but in the Christian consciousness too, for he is mentioned by Tertullian as being worshipped by the Noriki tribe, that time a part of the Noricum province, now Austria. Ausonius, a Gallo-Roman poet of the late 14th century, speaks not only of the Druids of Bordeaux, but one of Phybicus, priest of the Temple of Belenus. Later legend makes him a king of Britain in the form of Bel-et-Moi, although that is hugely debated, and there was a whole load of scholarly debate about that. In the history of the kings of Britain, Belanos is made the brother and rival of Bran. The rivalry may be a half-remembrance of the battles between the children of Don and the children of Lear, as Bran was the son of Lear and Bele the consort of Don. And that's it! I was like, no myth? No myth? What was the myth? Right, so a lot of the talking about Bel or Belanos actually referred to him as being akin to Apollo, and I was starting to get slightly irritated by this. I was like, oh, I don't need to know about Apollo, and I think the problem is that it's been absorbed by Roman culture, with the Celtic tradition being oral, meaning that the sort of the links or the integration of Belanos became integrated with Apollo. And there are some that say that he is not associated with the sun, and there are some that are like, it's just light, it's not the sun, and it's just this integration with Apollo. And a lot of texts give him as being a sun god, and it's not a far off stretch given that he has a horse for his totem, if you like, which there is physical evidence of on one of his shrines, because we looked at Macha last week and she has those connections too, being a solar deity and a horse being a solar animal. Her myths are obviously a little bit more easy to come by, but there we go. He's very widespread, he's found all over the place, in different continents and things, but it seems to have been one of those ones that was integrated a lot into other spiritual paths. I mean, with the story of him being a king, I read somewhere that he had a completely made up, completely fabricated link to Christ in one of the texts, and that's to sort of make him into a Christian figure, I guess. And it's interesting how that when you have a god who is now at least very synonymous with Beltane, so fire, solar energies, purification energies, healing energies, and above all fertility energies, he's been embraced and integrated into Christian and Roman, and Apollo was everywhere, and I was just like, no, no, I want the Celtic myth. And whereas if it was the female gets lessened, and I was like, that's naughty, that's naughty. So where Belenos or Bel is concerned, I think it's going to be one of those gods where you get the very basics of information, you know, and you can draw upon those things that I have mentioned. So if you wanted to engage with him on Beltane, that's probably the best of times. If you wanted to go down the horse route, that power, that solar energy, that sort of drive, motivation, and the energy and will to keep going, then that's one line of energy you could look into. If you really wanted to sort of try and take the archetype that he became as Apollo and sort of try and go backward from that, I guess you could try that. I don't know that I would do that, but it's a possibility. And the other possibility, of course, which is why I'm doing it today on Beltane, taking time out of my very spiritual day anyway, is that the energies right now are sort of key to understanding of him in his aspect of sun and protector and fertility, if you like, celebration of life. As we celebrate Beltane, it's about the celebration of sexuality, the celebration of life bursting forth from the earth, of the light half of the year, the sun getting stronger and warmer, and embracing all these parts of ourselves as we continue to grow. And those energies of frivolity and joy and a little bit of silliness, a little bit of sensuality, a little bit of power, all those energies that are so strongly felt at Beltane may be the best way of tapping into the god that is Bel or Belenos. And apart from that, I think it's going to be one of those Celtic gods which is very, very much about a personal relationship, about building a personal relationship and discovering firsthand what he's like. I mean, there were some descriptions of him in physicality, of being, you know, quite Saxon in like beard and blonde and things. And whether that's to do with being a solar deity, I don't know. But for me, if I was going to engage with that, I think I would take the energies of Beltane, which are now at least so synonymous, and try that and work that way. Because the myth is incredibly lacking, as is the problem with some Celtic gods. And it's an odd one given how widespread he seems to be and how integrated into other places he seems to be, that we have such a limited amount of information. But he can be likened to Macha. We have, you know, a prophecy element and henbane and things from the root word, so that's not 100 miles away from sort of the Morrigan type energies, you know. She has her solar aspect and tying in with magic and Avalon and prophecy and prophesizing battle and things. And so from that we can take that there might well be a similar energy there with Belenos. I don't think there is much more we can say with that information, and obviously I don't want to go on at too much length today with it being Beltane and me having spiritual things to do. So I think we're going to actually leave it there, and I'm going to say that actually Belenos is one of these gods that requires a personal relationship, requires meditation and spiritual investigation, and that of course is sometimes the case with the Celtic path because of the oral tradition. A lot of them maybe do not have myths as starting off places. It may be a similar energy to Mako, given the similarities in solar deities and horses and things like that nature, but it's worth, if you're interested, definitely developing a more spiritual type relationship. So that's going to be it for this video. Have a very blessed Beltane. Many blessings.